Leveling up in Dark Souls 3 not only increases your max HP, but also the amount of damage you output. Man. So naturally, in this channel's ultimate tradition of making my life harder for content, I decided to beat all possible Souls games without leveling, and to rank them not only based on difficulty, but how much they want to make me break my desk. I am going to break something! What do you mean? Now it's time for Dark Souls 3. And this game is a little bit different than Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2, because not only are the bosses actually difficult, it doesn't have overpowered pyromancy and a weapon that does a third of the boss's HP every 2 attacks. However, it does have 4 different rings that give me +5 attributes and different stats, allowing me to equip better weapons later on. But like I said, that's gonna be later on. So I start off by naming my character Grumble, and then I choose the level 1 class, because this is still a level 1 run. Average work dad going to his job. I then wake up in this graveyard, murder a crystal lizard. Okay, never mind. Let's just go to Gundyr, who you're supposed to fight at level 1, so he was very easy, because he's also the intro boss. So he went down super fast. That's how every boss is gonna be in this game, right? I then made it to Firelink, where I found this random guy. Did tree skip on my first attempt to get an Estus shard and the Silver Serpent Covetous ring. Okay, time to open this very cinematic door. I then went to go grab the broadsword because it's the weapon I use for literally 98% of the game after this. What? Since there's nothing else we need from this entire area, I then made my broadsword raw because it doesn't have to do anything with stats, it's just raw damage, and then +1 it, so now it's on to Vort, which if you've ever played this game, is a very easy boss because you can just sit inside of him and he cannot hit you. What? However, I was getting kind of screwed over. There's no... Can we get a zoom in? But luckily, I stopped having a skill issue and I stood at his butt and killed him. Okay, now it's time to raise the banner. I forgot the banner. Thanks for that, lady. I'll be back for you later. What do you mean by that? Okay, now I raised the banner and I'm at the Undead Settlement, which I just sprinted by most of every enemy ever. As I'm sprinting by, I grab an Estus shard, a Titanite shard, and a whole conglomerate of items. But I forgot to grab the most important one, which we'll figure that out later. After running through the area some more, murdering some more guys, I grabbed a Titanite shard, which allowed me to level up my broadsword to +2. Yeah! We're in the big leagues. So now it's time to go down the road of sacrifices. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Sadly, this guy is standing in my way. Oh no! And he's harder than every DS2 boss that was ever created. I am also better than those Dark Souls 2 bosses, so he died. Come on now! And now we're at Road of Sacrifices. I then grab the Grass Crush shield, which I use about 1 singular time. I then run some more, die some more. No, we'll all die together. Unlike these fires, die some more. What did he just do to me? After progressing some more, I grabbed a Bone Shard and the next bonfire, which is right before Abyss Watchers, but we're actually not going to fight them right now. We'll be right back. First, I have to go get some more Titanite shards, so I grabbed the Dream Chaser Ashes, which allowed me to buy infinite Titanite shards. And in the same area, I get 2 large Titanite shards, which allowed me to level up the weapon to +4. So I murdered this guy for fun. So now I'm back in Road of Sacrifices to fight Crystal Sage. Crystal Sage is, well, Crystal Sage. You can't just run around dodging the 3 magic attacks. Sometimes you can get messed up. Hey! Which happened to me a few times. But overall, the boss is easy. You just run around, hit her, run around, hit her, and it's over. I'm just warming up. It's not like a skill issue or anything. It was just like a warm up. I started progressing past the Sage's area to the Cathedral of the Deep. And the whole reason of me doing this is there's 2 really good rings that I'm going to use for most of the rest of the game that I probably should get right now. So I grabbed the Paladin Ashes, which allows me to buy Lloyd's Shield Ring, which gives me a defense buff at full HP so I won't get 2-shot from some bosses. Sadly, to get to the next ring, I have to get through this area. The dogs are teleporting! And dogs can teleport apparently, and a lot of enemies just kill me when I try to run by them. But with some lucky rolls and a lot of deaths, I got to Lloyd's Sword Ring, which ups my attack when I'm at full HP. I'll be back to the Cathedral of the Deep later. It's on to Abyss Watchers. Right before I got some more Estus Flasks, but now it's time for Abyss Watchers. Uh-oh, it's the Bloodborne guy. Abyss Watchers is probably the first boss in the entire Souls trilogy so far that actually has an immersive moveset. This is not me saying that some of the bosses in DS1 and DS2 weren't hard, but they definitely didn't have a moveset that you have to remember like most of the bosses from now on in DS3. Luckily, Abyss Watchers can be backstabbed. I got him! And I totally took advantage of that.
Nice.
And my damage was so good. Oh, I get the backstab. That was totally on purpose, and that was totally a crazy backstab that it kind of wasn't fair for them. So I won very easily. Easy boss, really. And literally right after Abyss Watchers, I speedrun my way over to Granny. Die! Die! And murder her. So now it's time for Dancer. Which, if you're wondering, yes, I'm doing way too early, but it's for a good cause. The whole reason I'm finding Dancer this early is because Lothric Castle has all the upgrades I need to get my weapon to +9. And we're definitely going to need that from now on. And Lothric Castle is guarded by the Dancer. Oh, so this is how I got myself. What? In these very... What? I thought I got staggered. What was that? I mean, she, obviously. That's what I meant. Annoying. I like, what? Situations. Dancer. What? At level 1, with the +4 weapon, is a very hard fight. The whole reason she is so hard is because 85% of her moveset can one-shot me, and that causes a problem. Alright, I'm being at this try.
Nope.
Like, can we get a replay on that? Because I am not a professional Souls player. I've never seen that attack ever. The only reason I beat Dancer was because it took me an hour. I am going to break something. What do you mean? Of engraving every single move that she had into my skull. Dude, get away from me. And eventually, I got lucky enough to where it wasn't the one move that I didn't know that kept killing me. And I eventually ticked her health all the way down. Come on! With Dancer dead, that's the end of DS3's early game. And I'm gonna give it a solid 5.5 out of 10. Because Dancer killed me for an hour and a half straight. But every other boss was so easy that it didn't matter. If any other boss was hard, it could have gotten like a 7. Okay, now time to enter Lothric Castle, where I farmed the same knight multiple times because he drops large Titanite shards guaranteed. So once I get my 12 that I need, I go look for some chunks in the Dragon Barracks and the Khatum King's Garden. And once I got enough chunks, I upgraded my weapon to +8. I then went to go fight Osiris because there is a very good ring behind Champion Gundyr. However, I didn't feel like fighting Osiris at this point. Oh, no! Look at his health! So we'll be back for him later, and Champion Gundyr. But I did get another chunk by trading with the Crow, so now my weapon is +9. That means it's time to fight some easier bosses. But first I grabbed the Karthus Milk Ring. This will come in clutch later. And now it's time to fight Wolnir. And I have slightly overpowered weapon for Wolnir, so I 4-shot his gauntlets and he just dies. And Deacons. Everyone die. Deacons are for sure a boss, but they're dead. Man, that boss was a doozy. Real quick, I go to Ethereal of the Boreal Valley to fight this guy multiple times because he kept killing me just to get the right Pontify that I basically used for like 2 fights. And it wasn't really worth it. Now it's back to Osiris. And in a normal run, he is very easy because you can just stand under him and he won't hit you. And that's how it still is for the first phase. But once he goes in the second phase and he starts flailing his body around, he one-shots me. So just like Dancer, I had to learn his moveset, which actually wasn't that bad. They're all pretty simple moves. It's just hard to dodge them all because they're kind of clunky and I can get one-shot by half of them. But it wasn't that hard to get a lucky run and to just win. So Osiris is done. Yeah, baby! Alright, time for Untended Graves, where you run for 3 seconds and you're at Champion Gundyr. And all I gotta do is beat this guy and get his ring, which is the best ring for this challenge. Sadly, dude, how do you dodge an attack? Champion Gundyr is actually very hard. Wait. On soul level 1, because usually when he attacks, you kind of just tank his attacks and call it a day. But I can't tank his attacks, and they're very fast. Why does he not stop attacking? And kind of actually hard to dodge. It was not in my plans for it to take 2 hours to beat Gundyr because he's labeled. In phase 2, he goes do, and he kills me as an easy boss. So what's my plan? I made my own. Run away, bait out this one attack, and parry it. Because for some reason the parry timing on this attack is very easy. And you do that over and over again, 2 more, until he dies. It's too easy! It's just too easy! Come on now! I then grabbed the coiled sword, bought some Artoria strip, put on said Artoria strip, and killed a big tree, so I can get the ring that gives me more stamina, and more importantly, more health. For this area, I just run by literally every single enemy, making it to the next bonfire,
grabbing a bone shard, running through this prison that I also ran by every single enemy. I then grabbed the ashes. Not even gonna try to say that. And now we're in Profane Capital.
No! Oh.
So that means
Stretch out.
it's on the Yorm. And obviously, Yorm doesn't change much because the Storm Ruler does the same amount of damage and you still 5-shot him. And those ashes I picked up allowed me to get infinite gold pie resin for the rest of the game. And if you watch this video all the way to now, please, I would greatly appreciate it if you just interacted with the video. Just watching it does help, but videos are doing pretty bad recently and anything would help. Thank you. Shameless plug. Took him out in one try.
Oh my god. Oh my god. First try! I guess that's just me. That's just me. That's just who I am. That's just who I am.
Somehow, I felt over leveled.
And with Pontiff finished, that's the end of DS3's mid-game, which I'm gonna give a 6.5. Because Osiris took me an hour, and Champion Gundyr took me an hour and 45 minutes. Now it's time for Endgame, where we explore good old DS1 location and Orlando, which was actually really short, and we're already at Aldrich. Nothing happens in between. Aldrich is usually a pretty easy boss. In fact, my damage at level 1 is very good, and the windows between attacks allow you to get multiple attacks off every single time. Most of his attacks are very easy to dodge, and even if I don't dodge them, they don't one-shot me for some reason. The arrow attack is a little scary, but you can just kind of run in a circle and it won't hit you. So I actually first tried the boss.
Wait, did we get the boss kill for that?
Yes, sir!
No way! Let's go.
Yeah, seem to be on a roll here. After making tree skip yet again, I dropped my cold sword that I got, and it gave me a Titanite slab, so now I have a +10 weapon. Back at Lothric Castle, I just run through the whole area. After hitting the shortcut, that means we're now at Dragon Slayer armor, which normally would be a boss that one-shots me, but since I suffered through Champion Gundyr, I could take 2 hits, and this helps out a lot with this boss. My damage on this boss is slightly bad, but he does have a lot of openings in between attacks, so it's not that horrible because I can get off like 3 attacks between each of his. Also, I think this boss's moves are just pretty easy to dodge. I think they're all pretty straightforward, and I think I just entered some type of flow state because I didn't get touched for the rest of the fight after he hit me one time. I think something about his Artorias armor is just making me better at this game, because he lost. Who? Easy. I completely forgot to do a quest line for the best soul level 1 weapon in the entire game, but it's okay, I don't need that weapon. It's for losers anyway. Sadly, this next area, why am I so fast? It's not fun. Oh, where are these guys spawning from, man? For soul level 1 runs. This is the worst area ever. Because I get 1 shot, okay, okay, by some things, and 2 shot by everything. Like, oh, this area sucks, man. And man, are those enemies working together. Like, what? Like they are the Avengers. Luckily, I made it out, and I grabbed the Hunter's Room, which will come into play next boss. But for right now, it's on to Lorien and Lothric. Lothric and Lorien? It's on to Princess. Just like Pontiff, I fought this boss for a very long time in my first playthrough of this game, so I actually know the boss very well. However, I did not first try it, but I know the boss's moveset good enough to at least get the second phase most of the time. Something I taught myself when finding this boss in my first playthrough is to dodge roll always to the back side. Never try to go backwards or to the sides because you won't be able to attack the younger prince when doing that. And always be very patient with this boss. He will kill you if you try to be too aggressive. There is no way! There's no way! Even though I don't have the axe that would have like doubled my damage, I don't need it because phase 1 and phase 2's moveset are virtually the same. Younger Prince adds a few new moves, but I know them all because I fought this boss for a very long time. So within 7 tries, I beat the boss. Did I even get hit? I don't think I got hit in the second phase. And I got the last soul of Cinder, which I obviously lit. And now it's time for Soul of Cinder. Dang! And oh boy, is this boss a doozy. Soul of Cinder is super hard because of a few reasons.
Interesting.
1, my damage is not very good. 2, his damage is very good against me, meaning I get 2 shot. And 3, he has so many moves. I don't even understand how this was fair to put this many moves in a boss. Before we get into that, I'm now using the Twin Blades, using the Hunter's Ring plus 5 dex, and the Karthus Milk Ring plus 3 dex. I can now use it, and it gives me slightly more damage, but it does swing faster, so it is better. And you start off by fighting his standard sword, which you fight first every single time, so I got down most of the moves. The only move that gave me trouble was his normal sword swing, but for some reason, he can just do it normally, or he can do a 4-step swing, which throws off your timings, and it's hard to tell which one he's gonna do. 3! He can, since when could he do 3? Because it's not, like, it doesn't really let you know. And then he can go into 3 different phases. I'm dead. 1, the wand phase, which is the easiest in my opinion. You can kind of just bait out attacks, and you can also stagger him out of using the balls, and it's just free damage. Dude, like, why can he still summon those without a wand? Second phase, the scimitar phase. You pray. That phase is scary. I don't know any of the moves. I just prayed and dodged. The fourth and final phase of the first health bar is the Lance phase, which you can kind of just dodge sideways and bait out the stab attack over and over again. He does explode sometimes, but you can kind of just dodge backwards. In my opinion, easiest to hardest, it goes wand, lance, sword, scimitar. And for his second health bar, he has one phase for the entire time, a very slow, colossal sword swinging type phase, which I never really got to fight a lot because I kept dying on the first health bar, but it wasn't that hard because he swung super slow and he still 2-shot me. Suffering through Gundir's Ring was definitely worth it because this boss would have 1-shot me and it would have been a horrible time. Good thing is though, I had a small strategy, and whenever he did his really big attack, I just sprint away because he can't hit me. And I did that a lot with different attacks because they were very slow and I could just run away. This phase was pretty easy to get used to just because of how slow it is, and he honestly repeats moves pretty quickly. So I didn't get here a lot, but I beat it fairly fast compared to first phase because I fought this boss for 3.5 hours. Come on! I was on mute, so you didn't hear the whole speech I gave to myself before that fight?
Shut up, bitch.
And with Soul of Cinder defeated, that marks the end of Endgame and also DS3, which I'm gonna give a 7.5. Yes, we went up by 1 difficulty every single time. I did not do that on purpose, it just happened like that. Soul of Cinder took me 3.5 hours, and that one area took me an hour just to get through it, so it was not fun.
So with all our rankings now in, the total for DS3 is a 6.5, which I expected it to be harder than DS2 and DS1. Well, I appreciate you watching all the way to the end of the video, and like I said in the middle of the video, an interaction really does help, especially sharing it to like a Reddit or some type of feed. I really would appreciate it. Also, just let me know what your favorite DS3 boss is down in the comments. I like to see people's opinions on these, because mine is a little obscure. But thank you for watching the video, and watch this one too, because I'm sure you'll love it.